And we are live. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are, of course. It is Sunday, April 17th, 2021. It's 9:02 a.m. Pacific time. I am back again with a live stream here, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. So hope everybody's had a good week. This is my first live stream here in April, concentrating on getting these unboxing and reviews out. I got tongue-tied there. So far, got a few of them out already. We got some of the Alder Lake laptops here in the studio, and I thought we would be remiss if we didn't do a live stream here today, because I need to take stock of what we've seen so far. And I just dropped my video on the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED, and of course that is a really nice value add here. I like the value here because of the price to performance ratio. $750 really gets you a lot. We're going to take a look at it in a moment, but I want to wish everybody happy Easter. I know it's Easter today. Happy Passover and happy Ramadan for those that celebrate that. It is holiday Sunday here on the channel, so let's make it a good live stream today. Let's say hello to a few people as people are filing in. Happy holidays to you, of course, and thank you for reminding everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel as we're approaching 125,000 subscribers. So that's going to be a pretty nice milestone as we march towards 150 and then hopefully 200,000 at some point. I'm starting to see growth starting to build up again here. We had a little bit of a slow couple of months starting this year, January, February, not too unexpected, but we're sort of out of it now. I will be traveling to New York very soon, a couple of times actually, for some very important press briefings, spring press briefings. I'll talk more about it as we get closer, but I will be in New York at the end of April and then again in May. So a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to do a lot of traveling. I'll be testing out some of these laptops on the road, so we'll get some real world usage out of it. Good to see Duck Vision here. Glad you were able to join us this morning. Same for Handquake. Good morning to you, sir. I'm glad you're able to join us. And then, of course, we got Mark here, a regular as well. Good to see you. Am I frozen? I don't know, because I'm trying to do this in 1440p, and I don't know if the bandwidth is holding. It looks like the bandwidth is holding up, but let me know if we're having issues. Hopefully we're not. Let me know if we can see me and hear me okay. Looks like Handquake says we're not frozen. So, Mark, check your connection. Maybe lower it down to 720p or 1080p. I'm trying to do this in 1440p. It should be coming in clear, and it also should be 60 frames per second. Now, we have the Asus Zenbook here in the studio. I did my unboxing and first look. I got it out as fast as I could. Gorgeous design. I'm really liking this lines on this. It's a really nice new redesign here for 2022. And I'm liking this a lot. Now, it is a major fingerprint magnet. You see it here. I can't help it, but it is a fingerprint magnet. There's nothing I can do about it. This is an all aluminum design. It's all metal. Nice, thin and light design. Now, what I like about it, of course, is it's got that ergo lift hinge I showed you in the video. And it has, that'll help with the airflow, will help with the raised typing angle, giving you a better typing experience. And I'm thinking that's going to be really good here because I'm seeing good airflow out of this. I'm seeing good thermals so far. Now, what we're looking at here, this is a 14-inch 2880 by 1800 display. That is a 2.8K display. Now, it's 90 hertz, but it is also 0.2 millisecond response time. That's what it also has. And I also changed something in the settings, and we can take a look at it right away here. Let's go to the display settings because I want to show you something. Not only if you go to the advanced display settings, which will allow you to change it into the faster refresh rate. Here you can see I have 90 hertz. But I'm also showing 10-bit over here, 10-bit color. Now, out of the box, that is 8-bit. So what you want to do is you want to go to the Intel Command Center, I believe it is, Graphics Command Center. There it is. And then if you go to the Intel Graphics Command Center, let it load up here. I know my network's a little taxed right now. Go to the monitor setting, the icon right below the home button, and then you'll see here the refresh rate, the scale, the color depth. Right now is set to 10, but it was set to 8 out of the box. So if you set it to 10, that will give you better color depth. And I'm seeing a nice difference. So with 10-bit, you're looking at 2.8K OLED, 90 hertz, 0.2 response time, millisecond response time, and 10-bit color. So to me, that is a big win. And I'm glad to see, Mark, it's now working for you. Good. So if you get this laptop, make sure you go into that Intel Graphics Command Center, change the monitor to from 8-bit to 10-bit. I think you'll be happy. Good to see Jeremy Tarter here. Zenbook looks like it's a lot at $750. I agree. I didn't hear you mention battery life. Is it good with the new chip? So I did my battery test, people, and let's take a look at that real quick. Let me load it up here. Hold on, give me a second. And what I saw was, and you can see it here, I did my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. I started at 100%, ended it put itself, shut itself off at 3% left. I got 8 hours and 44 minutes. So about 8 hours and 45 minutes. So that was at 150 nits in terms of the brightness. 90 hertz refresh rate was enabled. And I got this, 8 hours and 45 minutes. So that means you're looking at, I would say 5, 6, maybe 7 hours, depending on what you're doing in terms of battery life, and that's with mixed use. Now, of course, everybody's mileage may vary, so it depends on what you do. That will certainly affect battery life. But for an OLED display with 90 hertz refresh rate enabled, I thought it was pretty good. If you put it back down to 60 hertz, I think you're going to see, and I'll do some more testing on it, but you're going to get about another hour, maybe 2 hours of battery life. So that, of course, having the higher refresh rate will take up more battery life. So there you go. So to answer your question, Jeremy, the battery life has been decent on this. Again, OLED displays in general, I'm seeing about a little bit over 8 hours on my testing. So I saw that on the Yoga 9i with the 4K OLED. That was a 60 hertz. And then, of course, we saw on the Samsung, and I did my test on that, I saw about 8.5 hours or so. That's a full HD 60 hertz. That's a Super AMOLED display. That new review of that full review rather, I should say, is going to be dropping the next day or so. It's pretty much done. Just got to do it. What is the aspect ratio of the screen? This is a 16:10 aspect ratio, and that is a nice move here in this Zenbook line. I like to see that. I think previous generations we saw 16:9. With 16:10, you're going to do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. You'll see more on the display. So if you go to, say, something like my website, of course, it's going to be much smoother with that 60 hertz, of course. And then, of course, with the 16:10, you're going to see more vertical space. So, again, less scrolling, better for productivity. You're going to like it a lot better. So, yeah, 16:10, Abdul Rahman, that is what you're getting here. And that is what we're seeing here. So we got 40 of you watching so far. Good to see everybody join us here on this holiday Sunday. If you're celebrating Easter, Passover, Ramadan, welcome. It doesn't matter. Here on the channel, we just love tech. And of course, let's take a look at the poll. Now, I did a poll in the chat. If you want to go check it out, we got 43 votes so far. I got a big question to ask you people, and the question is, if you had to choose which Alder Lake laptop that I've reviewed so far, which would you choose? And so far, we got 43 votes. 28% went with the Lenovo Yoga 9i 14 Gen 7. 16% said Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360. 42% are looking at this one right here, the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED. That's what they're picking. And then 16% said to hell with Alder Lake, AMD only. So that is the poll. If you want to go vote, we'll go check in a little bit later on this live stream to see how the poll is doing. Again, it's right there in the live stream. Go ahead and vote. We'll take the pulse a little bit later. But what that tells me is people are excited about this Asus, and I think for good reason, because what you're getting here is a great price to performance value at $750. I think this is a steal. Now, there's a couple of things we need to know about buying this. So if you go over to Best Buy, and I have it loaded up over here, Best Buy has it for $750. A link is in the description below. Of course, it's an affiliate link. I will get a small commission if you do decide to buy it. But this one has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it has 256 gigs of SSD storage. Now, the thing about this to note is the performance has been surprisingly good despite the fact that it only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which, by the way, is LPDDR5 RAM. And I thought that worked out pretty well so far in my initial testing. But it only has 256 gigs of SSD storage. Now, the good news is, as I showed in the video, you can upgrade it to something better, and you can go up to a Gen 4 PCIe. Now, the one they give you with that 256 gigabyte is only Gen 3, and the speeds were not outstanding. We saw the numbers, especially the writes were not that great. I think it was under 1,000, with the reads were over 3,000. But with Gen 4, you'll definitely be getting better speeds, and I imagine other SKUs that will be available through Asus or wherever other outlets will have better reads and writes. But the good news is, like I said, you can upgrade it yourself and get better performance out of that. And by the way, it's running in dual channel mode. Okay, so for those that are wondering, what is the GPU? So this comes with integrated Iris Xe graphics, and I didn't see a noticeable difference from last year's Iris Xe graphics. So it's not a gaming laptop, and I think I made that clear in the video. If you want to connect to an external GPU, it does have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. So one of them obviously will be used to charge the laptop, and the other one is free to connect to an external GPU. You can connect to external monitors, 4K, multiple 4K monitors. You could also go to 8K, one 8K monitor as well through Thunderbolt 4. That's been pretty good. So I think there's a lot to offer here at $750. So when I saw it, I bought it, as I mentioned in the video. So for those that are interested in that, let me know what you think about it. And again, vote in the poll. Again, we have 55 votes so far, but it looks like this is leading the pack so far. And I think price is going to be a big consideration, considering the Yoga 9i that I reviewed, which I love. I think it's one of the best laptops so far this year. And I think that is a very high-end premium device. It's very expensive, of course, especially if you go for that 4K one that is going to be about close to $2,000. I believe it's going to be scheduled to retail for $1,929 here next month, actually, when it is fully released. But there was that SKU that I did with the full HD, and that had the IPS display, and that one was about $1,230. I left the link for that as well. So there's a lot to like here, but again, I think why the people are looking at this one is going to be the price to performance ratio. I think it is an excellent job they did. Now, if you look at the keyboard, as we have 33 of you watching right now, we look at the keyboard, you're going to see a really nice layout here, and I kind of like it a lot, actually. It has pretty good tactile feedback, 1.4 millimeters of key travel, which I thought was pretty good. I also like the fact that the backlight is pretty bright on this, and it has multi-stages. And again, white light against these dark keys, no problem seeing it, looking good so far. You can sort of see it here. If I press of the button, you can just change it there. And you can see it's pretty bright, even from that side angle. There you can see. Yes, it does have a 16:10 aspect ratio, Akmal. I'm glad you could join us. Why are the speakers aren't as good as a MacBook? MacBooks are the best. I'm going to just tell you that right off the bat. I still use this one. This is a 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch. And I think this has some of the best sound I've heard pretty much ever in a laptop. And I think there's no question that they're the leaders in that. And they just know how to do the sound better than the Windows manufacturers. And it's just a fact right now. But I got to say this, that what really impressed me about that IdeaPad Slim 7 Carbon that I reviewed and the Yoga 9i with its rotating soundbar are some of the best you're going to get in the Windows side. Still not quite as good as the MacBook. And it's just the way it is right now. But we'll have to see. And I did see that video from Dave 2D, and he goes into great detail to really break it down. I thought he did a great job. Eshan, thanks for letting us know. I did see that. And I thought he did a great job just explaining why the MacBook has better speakers. It's just the way it is. These are downward-facing speakers. They're located, if you see in my video that I did, and we can show you here, that the speakers are in the bottom of the laptop. And I'm not the biggest fan of bottom-facing speakers, but we can skip ahead. And of course, I put chapters in all my videos. So we can go down to the audio section. And here you can see, and we can pull full screen here, you can see that they're located towards the bottom. And what you see towards the bottom are these speakers, and they're actually pretty good. They're Harman Kardon branded or tuned speakers, and I thought they sounded actually pretty decent. Good volume, good mids, some bass, and I like that it has Dolby Atmos as well, helping out with the spatial audio. So thought the speakers were very good. And again, I'm going to harp on this. $750, you're getting a lot of bang for the buck. Good sounding speakers, good sounding laptop, really nice keyboard, 1.4 millimeters of key travel. And you also get that beautiful 2.8K display, 90 hertz refresh rate. Now, it's not a touch screen, but it does have that fast 0.2 millisecond response time. So there you think. Screen quality is excellent. We'll get to that other question next to it. Screen quality is excellent. Joshua, I thought that it was a lot for the money here. You know, where do we see an OLED display at $750, 2.8K? It's even better than the Samsung display, which is a full HD resolution, and it's also 16:9 with its 1920 by 1080 resolution. Can you close the lid of the laptop and press the left and right sides of the screen to see if it's rock solid or if it's just as bad as the previous models or the UX325? All right, so let's take a look at it. There is a little bit of flex, but very little. You could see it a little bit. I definitely see a better improvement in terms of the build quality from that previous model. No doubt about it. I think that was the other thing that I really noticed when I got my unboxing here. I thought it was rock solid. And the reason I say that is because generally in the past, I thought with the Zenbook line, there was a little bit, you know, flex in the chassis and stuff and things like that. Of course, they needed to come in at a competitive price. I'm not going to blame them for that. But it is very rock solid this time around. I didn't see hardly any flex, very little flex on this. Really good job on it by Asus this time around. Not that they did a bad job last time. I thought they did a good job. This is even better. All right. William is asking, it would be nice when these manufacturers design these PCs that when using the USB-C port for charging, they add another USB-C port to replace the proprietary connector, basic math. So, right, William, and I know you've always made comments on this, and I agree. So what he's talking about is there are two Thunderbolt 4 ports. They're over here on the side, and the Thunderbolt 4 ports do both they're all full function, both of them. They both can charge as laptop. But of course, if you're plugged in, one of them is going to be taken up. Therefore, you can't really use it. You only have one available for things like monitors, although there is an HDMI port on this 2.0. But there's also things like GPUs and stuff like that. So you're going to have to probably get a Thunderbolt dock, is my guess, or it would have been nice to put a proprietary barrel pin connector. That would have been one way to go. But again, they're trying to keep it as thin and light, keep the cost down as much as possible. And the benefit, of course, with USB-C is that you have many of these lying around. They're interchangeable, and you only need one type of charger for your phone, generally, unless you have an iPhone. But if you have an Android phone, you know, you're going to use USB-C. Your laptop's going to be USB-C. An iPad is USB-C. Samsung tablets are USB-C. So there you go. But I agree, William. One of them will be taken up with the charger. So that means you only really have one USB-C Thunderbolt 4 port available when that's being used. So, yeah, you know, that's something. Their compromises have to be made, and that's one of them. Let's check in on the poll. 74 votes. The question of those joining us late is, if you had to choose which Alder Lake laptop that I have reviewed so far, which would you choose? 26% said the Lenovo Yoga 9i Gen 7, 14% the Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360 from Samsung, 48%, which is the majority here, the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED, and then 13% of you said to hell with Alder Lake, AMD only. So there you go. This one is similar to the other ones on the poll. So Inez, it is similar because it's running the Alder Lake. So what are we looking at with this Alder Lake? This particular one has the Core i5 1240p. And just like the Core i7 that we saw, the 1260p, this has 12 cores. We got 4 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores. And I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the numbers on this one so far. And we can see here that not bad. In fact, I actually got a little bit higher on the subsequent testing that I did. But this got over 8,000 on the multi-core and a Core i5 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's pretty good, actually. 1395, you're looking at almost 1400 on the single core. I actually got higher than that. I think I got about 1450 on a subsequent test that I did on this. So just to keep that in mind, I'll talk more about it in the full review. And then, of course, the numbers are looking pretty good, especially for a Core i5. I was a little bit surprised. Not bad. Again, integrated Iris Xe graphics are not, you're not going to be gaming at full settings, AAA titles, but, you know, integrated Iris Xe graphics are pretty decent. Getting about 90 to 100 frames per second on that test. Obviously, the Cinebench test, pretty decent numbers, single and multi-core. Again, $750, you really can't go wrong. Roger L is here. I've been waiting and waiting for the high-spec Lenovo 9i. Frustrated yesterday, I ordered the Spectre X360 16 with 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabytes, and with the 4K OLED. Wow. Which Andrew liked a lot. Yes, Robert, no, Roger, yeah, no question about it. I think I called you Robert. Roger, I hope I didn't mess up your name. But yes, I did like it a lot and in the running for a laptop of the year. I liked it for its versatility, 4K OLED, liked a lot of it. You could upgrade the RAM. I'm sorry, you cannot upgrade the RAM. You could upgrade the SSD, stuff like that. So performance, very good on that. Performance, really surprisingly good here. I have no complaints on that. Are you getting the refreshed XPS 15 with the Alder Lake chips in the studio? Yes, I am. So Jeremy, I spoke with Dell. Very soon I should be getting it. I'm getting the XPS 13 Plus to review. And I'm getting refreshed XPS 15, XPS 17. So stay tuned. Things are starting to come into the studio now. So, and again, don't forget, if you joined us late, I will be going to New York end of April for another press briefing with a major OEM. And then I'm going back in May for another spring event that's coming. So we're going to have a lot of stuff coming all at once. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel because you don't want to miss anything. We're going to get all the Alder Lake. We're getting some of the Ryzen's in. So we're going to be reviewing it all here. Akmal's asking, do you think that the Asus laptop's cooling system and fan noise? Okay, so what do I think about it? So as I mentioned, and I alluded to in the video, the fan will ramp up in performance mode. There are 3 modes, and there is a key on the keyboard, by the way, that allows you to switch between the 2. Of course, that key does bring up the Asus control center, and I thought that worked out pretty well. And it's called the My Asus, and you can control here. You can go to the balance mode. Again, there's a lot of bloatware on this. We're going to talk about that in the video. I'm not crazy about that. Right now, it's on balanced mode. But you got power and performance here. You got the full capacity. Then you got balance mode. And then, of course, maximum lifespan, which would be the whisper mode. That will keep it as quiet as possible. And then again, the balance will give you the blend between the 2. Noise under heavy load was about 51 decibels, as I showed you in the video. So that a little bit loud, very noticeable. But in the quiet mode or the whisper mode, even the balance mode, it didn't kick in very loudly. So that's been pretty good. Battery life, as I mentioned earlier, if you're joining us late, I got 8 hours and 45 minutes on my continuous web surfing test. That's with a 90 hertz refresh rate. So I would imagine mixed use, you're looking at 5, 6, maybe 7 hours, depending on what you're doing. And of course, your mileage may vary depending on, again, your use case scenario. That does play a difference. There is no touchscreen on this, Inez. You cannot touch it. It is glossy too, so no touchscreen. And it is a glossy display, as you see here, a lot of reflections. Not terrible, but again, would have been nice to have a matte option on this. Hopefully, they will make a SKU with a matte option. So there you go. If you turn on the HDR and the display settings a little washed, It looked washed off. Can you check once? So some people don't like that. I understand what you're talking about. I actually thought on this one it didn't look washed out. Right now I don't have it on the HDR mode, but we can switch it over there. And let's go to here, and you can see what I'm doing here. Let's go to HDR, and let's go here. Where do I find it? I always forget. So let's go to the display. Hold on, I'm in the wrong. Let's go here. Let's go to display settings. Okay. Where's my HDR? I just had it. Let me go to advanced display. Maybe I'm not seeing something here. Right now it's on standard dynamic range, but I changed it yesterday. Where is it? Hold on, people. Give me a second here. More about HDR. Play streaming on HDR, optimized for image. I put it optimized for image quality. This is so weird. Where is the setting? Oh, you know why? Because I'm connected to the. Let me disconnect from this. Hold on. I know why. So let me take that out. We'll just do without this for now. Just give me a second. Okay. So here we are. Okay, let's go to camera 4 here, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see better. Again, all live here, people. Okay, so you can see here, use HDR. So if we click that, of course, it goes off for a moment, and then it switches. Right now I'm in HDR. So if I put on, see, the thing is, I don't want to get any copyright strike, but I think I won't. Let's just play it, and then we'll see what happens. But I don't think I should play it, actually, because I really don't want to get a copyright strike of some HDR content here. There are some free ones. Let me go to, you know what? I'm not going to take a chance because I can't really take a chance and get demonetized. So let's just leave it at this. Let's play one of my videos, even though it's not in HDR. Really is not a good representation. If we can use one that is HDR copyright free, I could do that. But right now it is switched into HDR mode. All right. So Freddie says, I feel that Alder Lake P series aren't nearly as power efficient as the AMD Zen 3 and the Zen 3 Plus U series. So that is something I noticed when I looked at the Carbon, which runs the AMD Ryzen 7 5800U, which is a Zen 3 based architecture, and then against the Alder Lake on that Yoga 9i. And I thought the Carbon was more efficient, ran cooler, as you know, in terms of didn't draw as much power, didn't need as much power, and therefore that's definitely what you're going to see. Commenting have no copyright issues. Yeah, but if I play it, I might have some issues, and I'm not taking that chance right now. Is the 16:10 just joined hard to see from the video, from the vid? Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes, it is 16:10. 2880 by 1800. This is 16:10 aspect ratio right here. You can. It's a taller nature. It's definitely better in my opinion. It's a good blend between getting work done and the watching movies and stuff like that, which have been great on this. And by the way, it's a true black HDR 600. I didn't mention this in this live stream, but I did mention it in the video. This has a peak brightness with HDR of 600 nits. So that means watching high dynamic range content, you're going to get a lot out of this display. Again, there you go. So yeah, I thought it looked good. I thought it looked good. All right, we got 49 of you watching. We're at 31 minutes in. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm glad you are able to join us. And if you are late to the live stream, go head on over to the poll where I asked the question, if you had to choose which Alder Lake laptop that I have reviewed so far, which would you choose? And the choices were the Lenovo Yoga 9i, the Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360, this one here, the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED, and then of course the last one was to hell with Alder Lake, AMD only, and 27% said Yoga, 12% said the Galaxy Book 2, and then the Zenbook is in the lead, 42%, and then 19% of you said to hell with Alder Lake, AMD only. All right. Does the display color look washed off after turning HDR on? No, I didn't see any washed out colors on this. I thought they were pretty vibrant. Even with HDR off, very good. It's more color accurate when it is off. I did measure both, and the color accuracy was very good on this. Under 2 is very good. We got a little bit over 1 on this, on the Delta E score. Great coverage of the color gamut. We saw 100% sRGB, close to 100% Adobe, in the 90s for the P3, and of course, the NTSC. So excellent. If you are a content creator, this is an excellent display, very color accurate, and great coverage of the color gamut. And if you go in the display settings into the Intel Graphics Command Center and go to the display settings, change it over from 8-bit color depth to 10-bit color depth for even better stuff here. So very, very impressive. So, hey, good to see you, Jet. Great that it has 600 nit display, but no matte display. Screen is a no-go for me. Just can't deal with the reflectivity. That's just me. So the 600 nits, Jet, just to be clear, is when you're in HDR, that's the peak brightness. When you're not in HDR, peak brightness is 400 nits, and very accurate is as to what I measured, as to what they claimed. But yes, I agree. A matte display would have been great here. It is a reflective display, as you see here. Excuse me. Let me get some coffee here. All right. So very good. Major fingerprint magnet, as I mentioned, and you'll notice it. But there's nothing you can do. It is a beautiful color. This is the Ponder Blue, but there was that green color. What did they call it? I don't remember what they called it, but it had the weird name. Let me go here. We can sort of see it here. Let me get to that point. I think it's in here. It's called Aqua Celadon. Aqua Celadon. So that is like a greenish tinge to it. Aqua Celadon is a subtle pale green wash commonly encountered on porcelain and symbolizing purity, clarity, and elegance. Okay. If you say so, Asus. Good to see Constantine here. Hello to you, my friend. Sambarta is asking, is there any 2-in-1 detachable laptops coming for digital artists? So they make this in the flip, I think. I think there's going to be a flip version as well. Hopefully I'll get that in. So yes, there are plenty out there. The Yoga, by the way, is also a 2-in-1 convertible. Waiting for your Intel i7 1280p, 6 performance cores, 8 efficiency cores. Laptop reviews. Try to get more of them. Special mentions. You are the first one to review the Zenbook 14 OLED. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, I will be getting them in. There's a lot coming into the studio. Just bear with me as they do filter in. I will be going to New York for a lot of stuff over the next month. So I'll be bringing back some stuff. So yeah, I will be getting a lot of stuff. I'm under embargo right now, but rest assured, I will have all of the latest and greatest here on the channel. Can you install Windows 10 on it? I guess. I don't know if you can you go backwards? I guess you could. There must be a way. Anybody know? I haven't done it. I've been just going forward with Windows 11, good or bad. I've just been going forward. The Asus ROG is also a detachable. Yeah, and they're supposed to send it to me. I'm not sure what happened with Asus. I did the X13, and my full review is pretty much done. That's going to drop probably Monday or Tuesday this week. So there you go. But, yeah, I'm going to go into New York at the end of April, and I will be there for a couple of days, end of April, and then I will be coming back in May. So I've got a lot doing in New York. I might as well just move back to New York, my hometown. So there you go. Good to see John Henrik here, my friend. How are you? Good to see you. Finally traveled Copenhagen. All right. Big Boy Yoga 99 now in stock in the EU. Okay, so a bad review from Just Joss said the fan noise and sound is bad. Okay, I like Josh. You know I love Josh. He's a good friend of the channel, but I disagree with him on this. The fan noise is loud in the performance mode, and I showed in the video. I showed you the decibels and stuff like that. But if it's in performance, if it's in balance mode, I didn't really notice it that loud. I don't know. Depends on what you do, of course. If you're really ramping it up, if you're putting it under maximum load, yes. But as far as the speakers, I thought they were excellent. I think Josh is a great reviewer. I don't know where he's getting this, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I have the same laptop. I guess he has the 4K, right? I don't know. I love Josh, you know that, but I disagree on that regard. But anyway, it's all subjective. What you think is good, what one person thinks is good, another one may not feel the same way. And especially when it comes to things like sound, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's ears are a little bit different. So, there's all sorts of variables in that. But at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, I thought they were very good speakers. I love the rotating soundbar. Now, having said that, I thought that the Carbon, the IdeaPad Carbon, had better sound overall, but both were very good. Don't get me wrong. Yes, hit the like button. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. Any word on a Dell XPS 13 2-in-1 refresh with 12th gen processors? No, I haven't heard anything, and I'm kind of surprised because I really enjoyed that 2-in-1. We haven't seen one, I think, since Ice Lake, right? I don't think we got that with Tiger Lake. I think the last time we saw that was with Ice Lake, but just correct me if I'm wrong. 10th gen. We never got an 11th gen. And I liked it. I thought it was very good, although the key travel was a little bit shallow for my liking. That was the only thing that I didn't like about it. Loved the display. Loved the inking on it. It was great. I thought everything was pretty good. Mark L., I apologize in advance if I miss your comments or questions. I'm only one person here. And, of course, Super Chat, Super Stickers will get you priority. Becoming a member helps out the channel. You know the deal, people. What is the RAM speed of the LPDDR5 in the OLED Zenbook 14 you just covered? I can't seem to find the speed anywhere. Is it 4800 or 5200? I believe it is 5200, but don't quote me on that. Let me see. Did I get anything from them? Where did I see that? I'll have to look into that. Actually, you know what? I have it right here. Well, we could just look. I don't think I have to look it up. I could just look at it here. Let's see. Let's go to Task Manager. Okay, and then let's see what we got here. So let's more detail. Let's go to Performance. Let's go to Memory. And let's make it full screen here. So it's 4800. Its speed is 4800. And it's running in dual channel mode. You could see it here. Right there, 4800. Thank you, Handquake. Yeah. I don't know why I just didn't go right to it right away. Yeah, thank you. Let me connect up the HDMI so we can all see it much better. I took it off earlier because I wanted to show you something, but hold on. Okay, so if we go here, and there you can see it, 4800 running in dual channel. No problem, Mark. I'm glad to answer the question. And it's fast enough. I'm very snappy on this. Any word on the upcoming Swift X 2022? Do you think it will be available by May or June as the 2020 model? What is your opinion on Acer making the switch to Intel for the 14-inch model? I don't have that yet, but I did speak to Acer, and I do anticipate getting that. So stay tuned. I will have some information on that very soon. Again, I did reach out to Acer, so stay tuned. What is my opinion on the switch to the to Intel? Well, I'm liking the Alder Lake. Let me be clear about this, but I still want to see what the Ryzens have to offer, and there are 6000 series updated to compete with this, the U series and stuff like that. So let's see. Let's wait and see. But I'm liking Alder Lake so far on the laptops that I've reviewed it. I've had no issues. Has the performance, the mix of the performance and efficiency cores made a big difference? I don't think so in terms of the efficiency and overall power usage, but I definitely am seeing good multi-core performance out of this so far, the Alder Lake so far. Again, we have more to come on this. Why is there a low space of RAM, 92% in use? Because I'm probably have stuff in the background here, but there are stuff running in the background. But again, I only have 8 gigabytes of RAM on this, not 16. If I were to buy this, which I did, by the way, but if I were an average consumer, I would wait for the 16-inch model, although this 8 gigabyte model has been good. Let's be honest, both AMD and Intel are in good shape in 2022. You love them both. And, that's a good point, Arcane. I think you're bringing up a good point because there's a lot of great stuff we're seeing so far. And I know everybody was saying, oh, the M1 this, the M1 that from Apple with their own silicon. There's a lot to be said of being able to upgrade your own SSD. There's a lot to be said of opening up the laptop. There's a lot to be said about gaming experience. There's a lot to be said about a lot of things other than synthetic benchmarks. There are other intangibles. But the fact that AMD and Intel have made strides, especially this Alder Lake with the 12th gen, and of course with the RDNA 2 and all that stuff with the Ryzens, and we're going to see with the 6000 series, a lot of special stuff coming out of that. So I'm really happy with the state of the industry so far, and hopefully supply chain will be better for both AMD and Intel. We'll see. But of course, we're still not out of the woods yet when it comes to the supply chain. So hopefully that will get better as the year goes on. OLED has saturated and unnatural colors, while IPS LCD looks more natural. I came to know it on my Zenbook 13 OLED. It's just a matter of preference. I've mentioned this in the past when I've reviewed both IPS and OLED displays, and I am a big fan of the OLED, even if it's less natural looking. But the good news is they've gotten a lot better in terms of the color accuracy and the color gamut and all that stuff. As I showed you with the numbers on this is a really good display for doing content creation with very, very impressive stuff with this one. What is your recommendation, Intel or AMD? I like them both. I don't think there's, I look for the right tool for the right job. So I'm platform agnostic, as you know. All right, so let's take a look at the poll. 137 votes so far in, and we're looking at the Zenbook 14 OLED in the lead, 39%. Second place is the Yoga 9i. And then, of course, the hell with Alder Lake AMD only is in third place. And then heading up the rear is the Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360. Hey, Andrew, I just joined. Seems like I missed out on a few things. Have you talked about the battery life? How is it? I did. I talked about it earlier, and I'll talk about it in the full review. My battery test, 150 nits. Over Wi-Fi, 90 hertz refresh rate enabled. I got 8 hours and 45 minutes. I'm thinking 5, 6, maybe 7 hours, depending on what you're doing. If you lower to 60 hertz, look to another hour, maybe 2 hours at most, more. Happy Easter to you, Federico, and I hope you're having a great Easter Sunday. For those joining us late, happy Easter, happy Passover, and happy Ramadan. For those that celebrate it. I think Intel manages power usage better. I don't know about that. I think AMD does a great job on the power consumption and power usage, but that's just me. I don't know. But hi, David. Could you recommend NVX360 for students? I absolutely can if you get it at a great price. I'm hoping to get, and hopefully by May, we'll start seeing refreshed models. That's what I'm waiting for. Well, for an engineering stuff, sir, what is better, AMD or Intel? That's it depends. It depends. I'm not going to answer that because it depends which model, how the cooling solution. There's all sorts of things that need to go into that. Mark L says AMD is on a smaller fabrication scale with less heat power output. I agree. Then Mark says Intel has better management software, but the AMD hardware literally consumes less power. I think he nailed it on the head. I think Mark, give it up for Mark L with the great breakdown between AMD and Intel. Thank you. Also wanted to say thanks, Andrew. You're welcome. That's great. I like that. I've made the purchase decision for my 2021 Swift X based on your review, and I don't regret it. Flashed a 45-watt V-BIOS on it over the original 35-watt, and I'm loving it. That's great to hear, my friend. Nicely done. Nicely done. You may want to see a doctor, my friend, if you have some problems. All right. Okay, people. So where are we? 66 people watching. We got 45 minutes or so into this live stream. I want to welcome everybody. Head on over to the poll in the live chat. We have 146 votes so far. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you are, if you want to become a member, hit the member join button. That would be great. You like that, Arcane? Good to see Carl here. No super chats. What's the deal, people? Don't you want to help support the channel? I mean, it doesn't matter, but anything does help because I did go out of my pocket for this one, by the way. So just so you know, $750, and I think it's a great deal. I'm liking it. Please like the video and share it. Yes, thank you, Arcane. I appreciate that. It's sad that questions are skipped. You know, I'm doing the best I can. And I'll take your question, no problem. It's not so sad, my friend. Do you get eye strain after a long time looking at OLED panels? I do not, but some people are sensitive to PWM, and you will find PWM under 50% brightness. I have the UX3402, and apparently it has PWM, whether brightness is below 80%. I thought it's 50% on this one, making me dizzy after some time using it. So some people, not me, are sensitive to PWM. So I can understand your concern there, my friend. I understand your concern. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Ricky, with a different vibe, likes the channel. Okay, my friend. You got it. I like that. Okay, William is saying, unless you are purchasing a PC, hold on one second. Unless you're purchasing a PC where you need super fast speeds and power to use, let's say to go into outer space, most of these PCs with any of these processors will easily meet your day-to-day needs. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely correct, William. You're right. And that's the end of the day. That's what's going to happen. Lenovo or Asus, they're both good. I have no problem recommending it. We need to talk more specifics, which is better. You know, it just comes down to what are you looking for? Both offer a lot, especially with that Yoga 9i and this Asus Zenbook 14. They're both very good. So I talked about this earlier, Yash. I got 8 hours and 45 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi in the battery efficiency mode with 90 hertz refresh rate enabled. 8 hours and 45 minutes. Real world mixed usage, 5 to 6, 7 hours. You know, I would say depending on what you're doing. So not too bad for an OLED. Not groundbreaking, but not bad. 75 watt-hour battery for those wondering. You got it, my friend. I'm glad you're able to join us. I'm going to go back a little bit because I didn't want to miss any of the questions. I think I just missed his, and then I got it. I made up for that. That's okay. Best gaming laptop under 2K. I have something coming very soon. I can't talk about it just yet, so stay tuned. But we'll be having something very good soon. Sorry to be cryptic, but I can't talk about it yet. I'm going back a little bit. K. Geisler 2 is asking, the new Asus Zenbook Flip OLED has a i7-12700H processor. What is the difference between that and the 1260p? Well, that's an H series. This is the P series. H series is more powerful. That will be a more powerful laptop. And I believe it's H series should be a 45 watt CPU. And it'll draw more power, but it'll also produce more power. We'll get into that when I have a laptop with that coming very soon, actually. But yes, that is not... The P series has the performance and efficiency cores that we were talking about. That also does, but on a higher level, from what I understand. Again, I'm not an engineer, but I'm going to be getting something with the H series very, very soon, so stay tuned. I'm going back a little bit. I don't want to miss anybody's questions. I think I got most of them. But the biggest question everybody had was the battery life so far. I need a gaming laptop for $700 to play Call of Duty and Cyberpunk. I could tell you this is $750. Cyberpunk is going to be tough on this one, to be honest with you, with integrated Iris Xe graphics. Not worth trying on this. You need something with a little bit more horsepower. You need a discrete GPU, I think, for good gameplay. Keyboard travels 1.4 millimeters. 1.4 millimeters. All right. Are there any Windows laptops that can compete with The MacBook Air in the battery life department. I think the MacBook Air might be the champ in that department. They're very efficient processors, that M1. So I don't know if there's any Windows laptop that can compete as far as with such efficiency. Probably not. Probably not. Because that is the best when it comes to battery life. And that's the million-dollar question: OLED or IPS, right? IPS or OLED, whichever. It just depends. I've seen some excellent IPS displays made by, the one that Dell used for years on that. And then I saw the OLED, and I'm a big fan of the OLED. I just like the vibrancy. I like the deeper blacks, the true blacks, the really great contrast. I'm a big fan of the OLED personally, although you'll do better in battery life with the IPS. Oh, yeah, that's true. The Surface Laptop Studio. That's right, Jen. I'm glad you brought this up. I forgot about that. The Surface Laptop Studio has 18 hours of battery life. But, of course, it depends on what you're doing, Jen. I did my battery test on that. Again, there's a lot of variables when it comes to these tests, okay? So there you go. You like my stream style, Ari? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. You can install Windows on M1 too. Well, only through emulation, through Parallels or something like that. I don't think you can do it. Obviously, you cannot do it. And you'd have to run Windows on ARM, which has its own issues on top of that. So to me, not a viable choice for running Windows anymore. No more boot camp. Can you play your YouTube video with HDR turned on or off? Yeah, but my video is not I can do that, but my video is not HDR. I did not film it in HDR. So... which I could start doing, by the way, but it's a lot more work. Do you notice any difference? The colors look washed out on my Zenbook 13 OLED. So your colors look washed off on your Zenbook. I didn't find that. It depends on the video. You know which video? The one I showed in that video is a good one with the LG True Blacks. Go to that one. I don't think it looked washed out, to me at least. And on this one, I didn't notice it. I didn't test Linux support. I know you always ask that, EL. I got to look into that. I haven't tested that yet. Don't buy a mobile system you can't replace the battery in, Surface. Yeah, so this looks like you can replace it. You can access the inside of it. And if you have to replace the battery, the Wi-Fi card is replaceable. Thank God it's slotted in. And, of course, the SSD. The only thing not user upgradable is the RAM, unfortunately. Good to see Aditya here, my friend. How are you? It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Aditya. Good to have you join us for this live stream. Good to have you back. All right. So Handwake's telling Federico, $750 model has a SATA 3 drive. More expensive comes with a SATA 4. Right. I don't know. Right. So it's it's PCIe Gen 3 and it's PCIe Gen 4 capable. So you can put a Gen 4 in it, and I think the higher end models will have the Gen 4. I'm pretty sure of that. But yes, thank you. No problem. No problem, EL. Yeah, it's PCIe. It's PCIe. Don't believe Microsoft products on paper. Battery life is usually half of what Microsoft claims. Again, it depends on how they measured it. I think they were using it for... continuous video loop, I think. In real world, check out my video. It's been a while on that one, but I think I did decent battery life, on it. I didn't think it was not 18 hours. I don't think I got 18 hours. Again, I don't remember. It's been a while. Go back to that video. Check it out. So it can do PCIe Gen 4. It does this particular one with a 256 gigabyte SSD. That's a Western Digital. I could put the model number if you want. I can even talk about it. And we can look at it here. Let me go to the device manager. That is a PCIe Gen 3. I looked it up. I actually looked it up. So this one is the Western Digital WDPC SN735 SD8 PN HH-256G. 1002, and I did look it up. It is Gen 3. For those that are wondering, it is Gen 3. But it is a Gen 4 capable. So if you want to go with a higher 1 terabyte, you can. Might even be able to go higher than that. I'm not sure, but yes, you can go to Gen 4. I think Lenovo has too many models, so confusing with both the Yoga Slim 7, the Yoga 7i, the Yoga 9i. What's the difference really other than AMD? Yeah, they do have a lot of models. I got to say that. Yeah, they do have a lot of models, and there are some subtle differences, obviously, between those that you mentioned. But yeah, I got to give Lenovo credit in one regard. They do confuse you though on some of the naming conventions between Yoga, IdeaPad, and what is a Yoga, what is a convertible clamshell. That does get confusing. But man, they're not afraid to take chances. They'll go with these bold designs. They'll push the envelope, and I take my hat off. I tip my hat to Lenovo for trying different things. HP also, they like to try different things too. The laptops are infinite. My work laptop is Lenovo. It is very good. Okay. You may want to demonstrate the gimmicky numpad. I was going to get to that, William. The touch for those interested. Yeah, I wouldn't be crunching numbers on a regular basis with this. So what William is talking about is this. So with the press of the button, you can enable the numpad. It's flickering on the camera, but it's not in real life, so for those wondering. And you do have to press kind of hard. You do got to like sort of give it... hold on, let me zoom in. And you sort of got to really give it a little oomph when you're trying to press the buttons. It is, I agree. I think it is a bit gimmicky, but it's there if you want it. You got to press that to turn it off. There you go. Sorry, mistyping. No problem. All right, Handquake, have a great rest of your holiday. Start cooking, and I'll see you soon, my friend. Good to have you stop by. Thank you. Choices and innovations are assets for the Windows world, and I agree, Aditya. Absolutely. John Henrik says, I really hope HP refreshes the Spectre with a 90 hertz or 120 hertz display, also full-size SD card reader. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, stay tuned. Better than nothing, I guess, Mark. If you, I think it's a nice value add for those that want it. I didn't think it was. It doesn't work that great. I mean, let's be honest. It still have better to get an external numpad to attach and just really be much more efficient with it, much faster with it. Any news on the Alder Lake HP Spectre 14 refresh? Not yet, but again, we'll know something in May. I think we're going to get some information in May. I've been to many different companies. Most of them are using Lenovo laptops. I don't know why. Lenovo is very popular. I think they're the largest. Are they the largest manufacturer of PCs in the world? I think they're up there, right? For good reason. Yeah, I mean, look, you're getting choices here. And that's the thing that I love about it. In the Windows world, you get a lot of variety. Everybody's talking this, and I take my hat to Mac, to Apple with the M1, the M1 Pro, and the Macs. It's great, but it's not the whole story. There are other aspects, other features of a laptop that people want, and not everybody likes the Mac OS. People want to be in Windows, so that's the other thing you have to take into consideration. All right, let's just check in onto the poll here as we are now 1 hour into the live stream. I don't know how much longer we're going to go, but it says, if you had to choose which Alder Lake laptop that I reviewed so far, which would you choose? 23% said the Yoga 9i. The second one was a Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360. That's 16%. That was in that was in last place. The lead is the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED with 42%, and then 19% of you said to hell with Alder Lake, AMD only, and that's with 167 votes in so far. And Ari is bringing up a good point. He likes the configurability of it, that Lenovo laptops you can configure. You can get an i3 with like 1 terabyte if you want. So a lot of options when it comes to configuration and so forth. Lots of manufacturers lock the RAM, storage to a particular processor. Yeah, I agree. I think they're good in that regard. Okay, let's start to get some other questions here. So Mark L says the Spectre X360 have notoriously bad hinges. Don't know if you've covered that previously, but I work in a laptop repair store and seen blown out hinges on Spectres. I personally haven't experienced that, but then again, you have to understand I'm rotating laptops constantly. So I'm not probably the good person to ask that long term because I have so many laptops to test that I don't get a chance to use one laptop really consistently for over a year or something to where the hinges might wear out. but it might be an issue, and I'm glad you brought it up. So anybody else have that issue, let us know. How about the Summit with the 12th gen Intel chips? So Gumo, good that you brought that up. I did speak to MSI. Hopefully we'll be getting them in soon. They're waiting on review samples to come in to get me some review samples. So hopefully we'll get that in. Same with the Summit, the Flip series as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to testing them out. There's no question. Any other questions, people? So far, my takeaway is I'm very, very impressed. For $750, I think this is a real winner here. I like what they did here in terms of the build, the redesign here for 2022. And it is pretty rock solid. Very little flex on that chassis. I'm liking that. Love the move to the 16:10 display, the 2.8K OLED display, 90 hertz refresh rate. You got to love it. Yeah, the Summit looks nice, and I'm going to hopefully get one in very soon, so stay tuned. I'm still using my Spectre from 2018, and if you handle it carefully, the hinges will last. So there you go, William. I take William's word for what it is because he's a longtime user of it, so absolutely, and a man with a lot of credibility. All right. I would prefer AMD if it was a 6000 series processor, but I keep seeing 5000 versus 1210. I think it's just a matter of supply at this point. Hopefully that will change very soon. Hopefully we'll start seeing 6000. Dell XPS with 12th gen. When will you review those? I expect to get the XPS 13 Plus very, very soon. I spoke to Dell. And I'm going to get refreshed 15 and 17s as well. So for the XPS line. Stay tuned, Rami, very, very soon. Hopefully Asus will give me something from the VivoBook line. I did speak with them, so hopefully that's some of them that are going to be coming. And that's a good point, Mark. You're telling William that most of the people you service do not treat their laptops with care, like I would assume that people here do. Yeah, that's, you know, and I got to be honest with you. I'm not the, you know, I don't treat these laptops so great either. But then again, that's just me. But I try to be especially with review units, which are not mine, I try to be as delicate as I can, but I try to use them as a real world user would use it so I can report my findings. But long-term use is hard for me on one particular laptop at a time because, again, I'm rotating so many different laptops at any given time. I mean, I could have 20, 30 laptops in rotation here, just testing and getting reviews ready and stuff. It's just impossible for one person. No problem, Rami. Russ is asking, should you upgrade if you have a 5000 series chip to the 6000? You know, that's a good question. I still need to see more out of these 6000 so far. I'm not seeing huge increases in terms of productivity over the 5000 in terms of the numbers, but 5000 was really good. And from the 4000 to 5000 wasn't a huge increase either. So where we saw the big jump was from the 3000 to the 4000. That's where we really saw it. Sirin Varsaro is asking the 11800 gen versus the 12800 gen. Again, we're going to get into those very soon. Okay. That's a whole discussion, whole topic discussing what is better. We'll get into it soon. Stay tuned, my friend. You know, just bear with me. TSMC has been overlooked with production for a few years. Okay. So TSMC, what do they make? They're the ones who make the things. So let us know. I think I remember that name. Believe it or not, I don't know everything. Although I do know a lot. I'm kidding. All right. Let's see. Any new comments? Which one do you prefer? This or the Lenovo Yoga 9i? I hope the Yoga 9i releases a 16-inch version. We will be seeing, I think, a bigger version of that. I believe we will be seeing a 16-inch. Stay tuned. Do I prefer this? They're different. That's a 2-in-1 convertible. That has a different use case scenario. That has pen support. That has the ability to use as a tablet. I don't like to compare apples and oranges. So I think they're both good. This is a great clamshell as far as I'm concerned. So I have no hesitation recommending this. Now, price-wise, this is better, no question. And again, that is a big consideration for a lot of us right now with gas prices about $6 a gallon or whatever it is. even though I have an electric car. I do have one gas car in my household, but we have 2 electric and 1 gas, and it's not easy on the wallet right now. I understand that. But for $750, to me, with the Core i5 even, with 8 gigabytes of RAM, LPDDR5 RAM, and running at 4800 megahertz, this is very good. I think AMD's better performance per watt. Yeah, absolutely more efficient with the power usage. Yes, I agree. Rami is using the MSI Z17, which is a great laptop, but the MSI built-in software are not as reliable as Lenovo or Dell. Okay, I can understand that. Oh, they make the M1. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Yes, they make the M1. And obviously Apple has the cloud and the ability to source their chips, so they're in a better position than others. They also make the NVIDIA GPU. Okay, TSMC. And are they in Taiwan or are they in China? I believe are they in Taiwan or China? I don't remember. Maybe let us know. They also make key parts for PlayStation and Xbox. Okay, so they're a big parts maker here. So they're going to play a lot of role here in getting supply. That's good. There's also a Pro version, I think, was a Space Edition. Yes, I saw that with an i9, but it's too much in my opinion. That looked pretty interesting. Again, I don't have that one, but it did look very interesting nonetheless. Yes, they are in Taiwan. Okay. That's what I thought. And they're hopefully can ramp up production, help get some of this stuff out, especially in the PS5s, right? So how's everybody doing? We're over an hour at 58 of you watching. For those joining us late, happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Ramadan, depending on what you're celebrating here on this holiday Sunday. HPMV4, okay, you like these verses, my friend. you want to see the big verses. That's the new channel, the Versus channel, which I'm thinking of actually naming, actually. But stay tuned. There may be something coming, my friends. Okay. When do you think we will start to see PC laptops with speakers similar to MacBooks? When they figure out how to make speakers that sound like the MacBook. Like we said earlier, Dave2D did a great breakdown over on his channel of the difference between the MacBooks in terms of their audio, the science behind it versus Windows. And it was pretty interesting. I thought he did a great job on that. I think it was a much needed video, actually. And hats off to Dave2D for doing such a good job on that. So check it out. Check it out. Okay, stop spamming. We heard you, my friend. We're going to have to ban you, unfortunately. Sirin Vasaro, we're going to have to ban you. I don't want to do it. If you stop now, I won't have to ban you. But if you continue on that road, you're going to get the boot, my friend. So just beware. Okay, it's time to ban him. Everybody, say goodbye. Sirinasso has been banned. When do you do live streams? I've been not doing them on a regular basis lately because just too many laptops have come in, the new stuff. But I'm going to start trying to do Sunday shows and have an after dark show during the week. It's just when I can do it. Again, I run a full-time channel here with a full-time job as well outside of this channel. So there you go. Yeah, I laid the hammer down. That guy was banned. You got it, Gussie. Just people are stupid, you know? Srinvasaro, Gulapali. Don't be stupid, my friend. When is the new XPS Plus hitting? Very, very soon. I should be getting that. I spoke to Dell. When is, yeah, we got that already. Been a few months since announcement. Yeah, I spoke to Dell. So rest assured it's coming. Hopefully with reasonable prices, my friend. Right now, there's nothing reasonable other than that $750 price tag you can get at Best Buy. Link in the description below. This one I did. This one I did not get from Asus. I bought this. I went to Best Buy like everybody else, and I bought this one. But a lot of the review units, I'll tell you when I get them, I buy them, and when they're review units. I would say most are review units, but occasionally I do buy them now. So again, I don't want to wait for them to send it. I want to be able to get you the information because I want you to be able to make the right purchase decision as soon as possible, right? So these stuff don't stay in stock. So if you're interested in this, make sure you hit that link below, okay? Is there any keyboard and chassis flex? I already showed that, Malik. Not much. Very improved in terms of the flex. There is a little bit with most laptops, but the build quality has been reinforced on this. All aluminum. This is all aluminum, 100%, and very, very sturdy. How do you manage time with a full-time job and a YouTube channel? Do you have a family? I do, and it's a very difficult balancing act. Very difficult. I wake up early in the morning. I get up very early, 4:30 in the morning, and then I get to work on the videos, and then I go to my 9-to-5 job, and then when I come home, I tend to not work so much after 5 o'clock. I try to rest and get time with the family, and then go back at it. And the weekends, I pretty much, during the day, spend time with the family, but also work on the videos and do live streams and stuff like that. Very, very difficult, but I've managed to somehow get it done. But we're going to see, going forward, how it's all going to play out. Again, you do get tired. You do get a little burned out, but I love it so much that I don't mind the work. The work to me is enjoyable. I'm a hard worker, if you haven't noticed. I don't mind putting the time in. I'm a worker, so I'll put the time in, and it gives me satisfaction to produce something that people like to watch and find useful. They find value in my content, and that to me is very satisfying. I like that. When do you think the new graphics card will be released? I don't know. Which one are you talking about? There are a lot of new stuff going to be released. TSMC was the first company to produce 5-nanometer chips, so that's good to see. It's not true, William. I do get bored. I just try not to show it. There are a couple of sponsored stuff that I did recently. I'm not going to say the couple that I did that I wasn't so, not that I'm not enthusiastic about it. It was a good payday for the channel. It helped out the channel. Every so often I'll have to do it. And you'll see it says include sponsored content. I'll do that. Not too often, obviously, but it was a good payday, and I thought it was good for the channel to invest in the channel. So every so often, I got to do that to help keep this channel, profitable and going and so forth. But I don't get bored per se. I still love doing this. That's for sure, William. There's no question. 380 Ti or the 3090. I did the 3090 with my 45L, which I have back there. The Omen 45L has the RTX 3090, and the numbers were outstanding. I'm one of the first that had that. I got, I think, 15,000 or so views on it. So, okay. I was hoping a little bit more. Your content and Megasoid is saying your content and delivery is straight and to the point, which is a welcome change from so many other self-absorbed reviewers. Well, you don't think I'm self-absorbed? Oh, let me fix my pocket square. Thanks for all you do here. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me, Mega. So I try to give you the information in an entertaining way, but not in a way that takes away from the device. The device to me, and I said this from day one, is the star of the show. I'm not the star of the show. The device is. That particular device that I'm looking at in that particular video is the star of the production. And as long as I don't get in the way and as long as I add value to it, that's fine. I'm going up against people, probably half my age, whatever. I don't care. I think as long as you make good content, that's all that matters. None of the age, gender, or if I could look purple, pink, yellow, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter any of that. All matters is if you give fair and balanced content that is good content, people will watch it. People will find you. The channel will get easier once again. The shortage gets better. Yeah, we went through a tough time, Duck Vision. January, February were really some low points on the channel. I mean, there was not much interest. There was not a lot happening after CES. We were waiting for these refreshed 12th gen Alder Lake processors to come in, the laptops with those. We saw some new releases in March. That was okay. Started to get a little bit better. April's a little bit better. The view counts have gone up. The subscriber numbers have gone up. We're about to hit 25,000 subscribers. So we're always have steady growth. There was never negative growth on this channel. Always slow but steady. but that'll take over any day of any loss of, growth. And we're negative growth. We've always had positive, steady growth. And financially, the channel's doing okay. We got some good we've got good affiliate revenue coming in. I got some sponsored content here and there, not too much. So that's been good to help out the channel. And of course, the ad revenue from the channel has been good. So there you go. So we're okay. We're doing okay. 125,000 should be hit within the next week or so. That's another milestone. Hopefully by the end of the year, we could get close to 150,000. We'll see. You never know how these things go. I think your reviews are great anyway. I have to run. Good to see you, William, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, my friend, for stopping by. Very soon, we're going to get the XPSs in. I know a lot of you are waiting. I spoke to Dell. It's coming. IdeaPad 5 Pro or the Dell Inspiron 16 Plus. Those were great laptops from last year. Hopefully, we'll get the refresh soon. Hopefully. Those were some of the more popular ones in 2021. I agree. I can't wait to get those. Again, I spoke to the respective OEMs. We'll see. Hi, Andrew. Was wondering if you had seen the new Lenovo ThinkPad Z series. I did. I had hands-on time with it at a press event. We'll talk about that soon. And whether you had any information on when the line of laptops will be releasing. The Z series, I think, is in May/June, if I remember correctly. I think we'll see that in May, end of May, maybe early June. So I'll let you know once I get any more concrete information. I did have hands-on time with that the Z13 from the ThinkPad line. Very, very impressive stuff. That Z series is going to look good. They have a 16-inch, and I believe they have the 13-inch. I saw both. Very, very impressive. Yeah, very soon, Tanish. Same thing with the 15 on the XPS 15. You got it, Russ. I'm glad you were able to join us today. Any rumors about a Surface Pro 9 this fall? I would imagine the Surface Pro 8 did very well, from what I understand. So, and it's still selling very well. I know my affiliate revenue on that has been great. The videos did great. The unboxing video, I think, got 65, 70,000 views. I think the review video is pushing 80,000 views, so looking good. Expect to see a refresh on that Surface Pro line, Surface Pro 9, I would imagine, in the fall, like usual. I'm also looking forward to Surface Laptop 5, which I anticipate maybe this spring. I don't know. I don't have anything from, my relationship with Microsoft is funny. They do know I exist. They know my videos. They compliment me on my videos, but they don't send me any products for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's just the way it is. I like the products. I've gotten millions of views on their products, the Surface products, but for whatever reason, they don't invite me to the press events, and they don't give me review units. And that's fine. I go out and buy them with my own money, and I guess that's just the way it'll be going forward. That's no problem. It's okay. I don't need them. It would be nice not having to spend thousands of dollars on these devices. Although I make money, the idea is to make money on this channel, not to lose money, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I do take a loss for the channel, but hopefully I'll get enough views, I'll get enough affiliate revenue, I'll get enough sponsored content that will make up for that. That's the way to go. But it would be nice to have Microsoft send some devices. I think I've earned it at this point as far as quality of reviews, fair and balanced and unbiased. But if that's not what they want, then I can't. That's up to them. I can't do anything more than what I've been doing. It was my pleasure to participate. Have to jump off the live stream. Thank you, Rami, and have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Among the top 3 chosen, can you rank them? Which has the best speakers? Asus G14, Lenovo 9i14, and the Zenbook 14 OLED. The 9i, I think, has the best. The Zenbook 14 in second, and the G14 third. That's how I'd rank them. And by the way, I did a really nice impromptu speaker test. If the last live stream, I think the end of March we did it, we had all of them lined up. At the end of that live stream, go towards the end. I should put chapters on that. I meant to do that. I forgot. But I did an impromptu. I had the Yoga 9i, I had the Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360. I had the X13 Flow from ROG, from Asus. And then I had the G14. I lined them all up. We did a sound test on the channel. Check it out. I thought the Carbon was the best out of those. MacBook Pros still have the best speakers. I do agree. I do agree. Check out Dave 2D's video. He did a great job on that. Which laptop do you currently use on a day-to-day basis? Well, the one, you probably know this. So I use this MacBook Pro 2019 with the Intel Core i9 on this. I still use it for a lot of the video editing I do because I like Final Cut Pro more than Premiere Pro. That's just me. But I also, as you probably know, if you follow my channel, I bought as my personal laptop for Windows side, the Dell XPS 15 9510 with the OLED 3.5K OLED display. And that's going to get refreshed here for 2022. I'll be getting one in hopefully very soon. Comparison video of the Zenbook versus the MacBook. You know, I could. I have to get a MacBook 14. I didn't review. Did I review the MacBook 14? I did the 16. I didn't do the 14. MacBooks don't do well on my channel. They bomb for some reason. Every time I try to review a MacBook on this channel, I don't get the views. Of course, I'm not getting them 2 weeks before like all these other big YouTubers, and I'm not getting the views, and then I'm not ordering them day one because for what? If everybody, the MKBHDs and all them are going to get all the views, why am I going to spend $3,000+ to get 4,000 or 5,000 views? It doesn't make any sense. You guys aren't watching them. I know you keep asking for it, but when I do, you don't watch them. So that's just the reality of it. And YouTube will not serve out the video if my regular viewers, not even so much subscribers, regular viewers, which are different, are not watching and they're not interacting and they're not engaging with that video. They're not going to suggest it and they're not going to put it in people's home pages. So you got to be aware of that. Are burn-in issues with OLED still a thing? I don't think so. They put screensavers on this. The technology's gotten better. I haven't had any burn-in issues with any of the OLED laptops, and I've been seeing them the last couple of years. They've not had that issue. I know people still harp on that. Me personally have not seen any OLED burn-in, and I do my battery tests. Believe me, I know the screen changes every now and then, and it stays on constantly, the screens when I test these battery tests, and I have not seen any burn-in whatsoever. So that's, of all the laptops, of the many OLED displays I've reviewed over the last couple of years, I have not seen any burn-in, at least not with mine. Duck Vision, is it possible that Apple fanboys will stick to only watching their typical reviewers? Yeah, and I find it hard to watch those. God bless them if they're going to do all Apple stuff with the goofy stuff and then put down Windows and all this. You know, I don't find that entertaining. I find no value out of that. God bless them if they're getting the views. But when I do, and I try to be fair and balanced, and I try to give you unbiased opinions as to what I think, and I'm fair to both Windows, Mac, Chromebooks, whatever it might be, Linux even, I would be very fair to all of them. So that God bless them. Will you be checking out the Samsung Tab S8 Ultra? I have the S8 Plus and love it, but it's already been a bit big for me. So the Ultra would be even bigger. So why would the S8 Plus be something you would be interested in? The Ultra is the one that's too big, unless you're looking to go to the S8 Plus. So the S8 Plus to me is the best of what you want to get in that line, because it's not too big, it's not too small. The Ultra is just too big as far as I'm concerned on a tablet. And then the S8 is not an AMOLED display, but that's good too. If you don't want that, you don't mind IPS, that's fine. So I think the best of the both worlds will be that S8 Plus. The Ultra, I could get it, but right now, I don't know. Financially, Samsung's not sending it to me, so I'll have to see. If I get enough demand, like I said, I'll do anything if I get enough demand, but it just depends. Hi, Andrew. Really like your reviews. I'm glad you do, my friend. I'm glad you're joining us. Hope you get an early access to the LG Gram 2022. So I did earlier this year of the 2021. LG did send it to me. Got decent amount of views, 8,000, considering it was released last year with the 11th gen. I actually liked it a lot. So hopefully it was good enough for LG that they'll send me another one. We'll see. You never know. You never know. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I'll release a video. I'm thinking this is going to be 100,000 views. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. But if I got 30,000, like I did with the Yoga 9i, that's great. 30,000 is great. Now, was I getting 100,000 during the pandemic? Absolutely. But we're not in the pandemic stage like we were at least not right now, like we were back in 2020 when my channel reached 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, so we already talked about that. Let me see what else. Which do you think is the best Ultrabook? Oh my God, there's so many good ones coming out. Too early to tell here for 2022, my friend. Too early to tell. Stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming. So Russ is saying the S8 Plus is a sweet spot in my opinion, and maybe anything bigger that is already a laptop for me. And I think that's the issue with the S8 Plus. Rather the S8 Ultra, I should say, because that's a 14.6-inch display. That's encroaching upon laptop territory. And as I mentioned in my S8 Plus video, one of the cons was that the Android tablet experience, at least now, before Android 12L, which hopefully will be better, but right now, as it stands, is not optimized for tablet apps, or tablet usage, I should say, more for phones. So the tablet experience has not been optimal for a lot of the stuff. I know Samsung has their own apps for certain things, and the DeX mode works great, giving you a very laptop-like experience, but it's not a perfect one-to-one replacement, as I mentioned. So the S8 Plus is good for certain things that it does. Is it 100% a laptop replacement? I don't think so. I don't think so. We're not there yet. I like what they're doing with the DeX mode. I think they're in the right direction. It continues to get better, but we're not there yet. Yeah, so 12L is going to be a better tablet experience, hopefully. We'll see when it comes to the Samsung Tab soon. 12L has a lot of potential for both, not only the Samsung tablets, but hopefully the Surface Duo as well with its dual screens. I don't know if they're good. Hopefully that will be getting it. I reviewed that as well from Microsoft, which I'm a big fan of. I think the Duo 2 has brought a lot to the table. But I think the 12L is a needed update to the tablet experience for Android users, that's for sure. PWM is 50% or low brightness on this. So for those that are sensitive to PWM, that's the one thing with the OLED, more so than the burn-in issue, is the screen, the sensitivity to PWM or pulse width modulation. People get headaches from that and stuff. I'm not sensitive to that, so I've mentioned that before. All right, I bought my M1 iPad Pro when it came out. I was able to play podcasts in the background, play a game. After updated iOS, I cannot do it anymore. New update also bans writing to external SSD. Well, that's not good. So, you know, as impressive as putting an M1 chip inside an iPad, it really doesn't make any sense without the software, right? So there's no Final Cut Pro for the iPad. You can get LumaFusion, but that's not quite the same. But what's the use of having that really powerful, efficient chip in the iPad Pro if you don't have the software to make it viable as a laptop replacement, if that's what they're trying to do? Maybe they're not trying to do that. Maybe they're not. And notice how they're not pushing that as much. They're pushing the new Mac Studio, which is that Mac Mini on steroids that they just released. So, which might be overkill for most people. I think that's pretty self-evident. But what I'm trying to say is there's so many options out there. There's so many things that you can, choose from nowadays. That's good, is because competition spurs innovation. But having an iPad with an M1 chip in it, to me, doesn't make too much sense, because what are you going to do to utilize that power? And I don't think there's not one single application or app out there that will sort of take advantage of that power. It's nice to be able to say I put in a pro level chip in there, but without the pro level applications, it doesn't mean anything to me. Russ is saying the M1 iPad can beat some laptops. It's really the software that bottlenecking it. Absolutely, and that's my point. My point is you can benchmark all you want in the Geekbench or whatever, have the highest scores. It doesn't matter. That's a synthetic benchmark. In real world, where are the applications that take advantage of that? Now, if you put, say, something like Final Cut Pro on that, a full version of Final Cut Pro on that, now you have you've piqued my interest. To be able to use the Apple Pencil, maybe to help out with the editing, maybe to have the touch screen now, pinch to zoom, stuff like that you can't do on a Mac. Maybe that is a good application to use. And I'm sure they're working on it. But at the same time, are they going to cannibalize the sale of their new Mac Studios, of their iMacs, or the MacBook Pros, or the MacBook Airs as well? I don't see them doing that. Not right now, when they're trying to sell this new Mac focus that they have. So we'll see. I was able to do more when it just came out. Well, that's disappointing, actually. Now, I'm still using my 2018 iPad Pro. No reason to upgrade. That has a slower chip, but it performs perfectly fine on all the applications that I use with it. And I've had it since 2018. I have no need to upgrade it to the newer one. The screen looks fine to me, even though it's not the latest and greatest, but it's still perfectly viable and usable, and I have seen no slowdown with it, and there's no reason to pay extra money just to say I have an M1 chip in my iPad Pro. So there you go. That's not good, my friend. It sounds like they've scaled back some of the things. Do I prefer the M1 Air, MacBook Air M1 or the Zenbook 14 OLED? You know, it just depends, right? The M1 is a great chip. It's a super efficient chip. Doesn't get warm. It gets great battery life. It doesn't overheat, and it gives good performance. But at the same time, I can't upgrade the SSD. I can't upgrade anything on that. I can't play games on that. Serious gaming I cannot do on that. It's a Mac. And I can't run Windows on it. There's no boot camp. There's no, unless I want to run it in emulation mode and run Windows on ARM. I don't think so. I don't want to do that. There's no sense to do that. So at the end of the day, I prefer a laptop that I can open up. I can upgrade the RAM, not the RAM, but I can upgrade the SSD. The Wi-Fi card goes bad. I can switch that out. I can change out the battery at some point if I had to. This is stuff you can do on this one. So at the end of the day, that's the one that I would choose simply because that's what I like. I also like the fact that in Windows laptops, I have an option for touch. I have an option for pen support. So there are things you can't do on a Mac that you could only do on a Windows laptop. And I think people overlook that. Upgradability, gaming experience, inking, being able to put it into tablet mode or convertible mode or whatever, tent mode. There are things you can do on a Windows laptop that you can't do on a Mac. Now, having said that, the Macs are great in terms of the audio, far superior. They're great efficiency as far as cooling and not overheating and getting as much performance out of their chip. And, of course, the battery life is really good. So there's pros and cons on both sides. Looks like Alder Lake, not really power efficient, and you get not very good battery life. So I wouldn't say blanket statement like that because battery life I thought was decent, especially with an OLED or an AMOLED display that I've reviewed so far. All of them got about over 8 hours on my continuous web surfing test. So for AMOLED display, for an OLED display, that's not bad. Are they as good as the M1 Mac, the M1 Air? No, it's not going to be as good. But then again, you know, you're limited as to what you can do on that one. So we'll see. You know, as far as display options, as far as no touchscreen, no pen support, no upgradable SSD, no gaming, and of course, no running Windows for those that need it. So there you go. And don't tell me you can run that in parallels. You can do the Windows on ARM. You know that's not a viable option. Let's be honest. Even some Android phones can do things like a laptop. Yeah, I mean, they've come a long way. Android, iOS has come a long way. I mean, we're now getting to the point, the iPad OS, but the problem is there's no real replacement, not just yet. There's no application that takes advantage, at least on the iPad Pro, that takes advantage of that M1 chip, or it just doesn't, they're not ready to make that move. I don't think they want to cannibalize their sales of the MacBooks and the iMacs and the Mac Pro that's coming, or even the Mac Studio they just released. Especially the 16-inch. I heard those speakers. I hope we can have those in a Windows laptop someday. So let's see, let's see what the Lenovo comes up with their rotating soundbar and their 16-inch version of the 9i. Hopefully we'll get that in. And then, of course, we're going to have to see what Dell has to come up with. They had some pretty nice speakers on their XPS line, I thought, last year. So we're going to see. This is all far from over, people. This is far from over. We've got a lot of laptops coming in. So too early to tell right now. Is the Wi-Fi card in the Slim 7 Carbon upgradable? That lack of Wi-Fi 6 is holding me back. Go back to my video. I don't remember off the top of my head. Go back to my video on that. I open it up. You'll see it, and I'll tell you in that video. I can't remember off the top of my head if that's soldered in or not. Go to my head-to-head with the 9i. I think we talk about it there. that video was recently. So just go over there. If somebody knows off the top of their head, I can't remember. I got too many laptops and I'm getting old. There you go. Have a great week, John. I'm glad to see you here, and have a great rest of your week. I wait for the Surface Laptop 5. Hopefully we'll get that soon. Hopefully they will be announced. No worries, my friend. No worries. All right. And with that said, people, we're at 1 hour and 36 minutes. Are any other questions you want me to answer? I tried my best to get to everybody's questions. Let me see what he says here. Gable M, I'm thinking of buying an iPad Air. Should I get it with an A14 or an M1? The A14 is cheaper, but should I go for it? Now, the question is, do you want to future-proof it? Maybe they will be updating these to have better software that will take advantage of the M1. But if it's a big price difference, I don't see any reason to go with the M1, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything that really takes advantage of it. I don't think you'll notice any difference in performance, the display performance, or anything like that. So A14 should be fine for pretty much all applications on that iPad. So I don't see a need to go spend the extra money, at least not now. Have I looked into the Space Edition of this laptop? I do know about it. I read about it. I have not been offered a review unit on it. Be great. He's talking about the Space Edition. It does look good, although I think it is a bit pricey, right? So I have not had it yet. Not yet. Great show. Thanks for all your hard work, Andrew. Much appreciated. Thank you, Andy. Thanks again for stopping by. You don't need Wi-Fi 6E. Use a hard drive. Will be slower than use hard drive will be slower than your Wi-Fi. Okay. In India, the Asus Zenbook Flip 2022 OLED model comes with a 63-watt smaller battery. Is it worth buying? Just depends on your usage. I think it'll be fine with it. I think you'll be fine with just, again, if you need something with a bigger battery, there are other stuff out there. We got a lot of stuff coming in, so stay tuned. All right, people, I think we're going to call it a live stream. I want to thank all the moderators for doing a great job today, and I got a lot more stuff coming, so you make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will have a full reviews of that Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 360, Book 2 Pro 360. That should be dropping next day or so. Same for the X13, ROG X13 from Asus. That should be coming very soon. And I got a lot of other stuff. You don't want to miss it. I got my full review of this one. That's coming. The Asus Zenbook 14 OLED. So a lot more on that, and a lot more coming to the channel. So until next time, people, I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend, and see you next time. Bye-bye.